This video describes how to create three-point lighting. I'll start by describing three-point lighting, then identify and discuss how and where to set up the three lights involved, and conclude with a brief summary. To review, three-point lighting is best used when you're attempting to create a dramatic mood. It's good for case studies and testimonials, but not for news or informational videos. Three-point lighting creates high contrast between bright and dark regions, and is high maintenance because even small movements can throw off the desired effect. There are three lights to place for three-point lighting: the key, fill, and backlight. Let's start with the key light. The key light is the most powerful light of the three and provides the primary light in the scene. It can be a hard light or a soft light, but I recommend soft to minimize the contrast ratio. Finalize key light placement first, then adjust your fill and backlights. Start by placing the key light at about a 45-degree angle from the subject's nose, and above the subject facing down at about a 15 to 20-degree angle. Now let's discuss how to finalize these positions. Rule number 1 is to place the key light opposite the camcorder so that the dark side of the face is facing the camera. Then monitor the nose carrot. It's best either close to the nose or totally hidden in shadows, but don't let it lay like a blob on the cheek or extend downward into the lips. Lower the lights to minimize the shadows beneath the chin and eyes. Make sure the key light doesn't create a hot spot on the subject's face. This is about as bright as I would go. Though it's not important on this set, check where the shadow falls and make sure it's either not visible or is acceptable where located. Finally, make sure the contrast between the dark and light regions isn't too great for your camcorder to capture. Now on to the fill light. The fill light moderates the power of the key light and softens the contrast. It's generally a soft light, about 50% of the power of the key light. Start by placing it about 90 degrees from the key light at about the same height. Then you can adjust positioning to taste. Placement is subjective and scene dependent. What you're striving for is a moderation of the key light, not the obvious appearance of the second light. This means that you should avoid shadows and hot spots. Usually, turning the fill light on and off a couple of times will reveal any problems. Finally, the backlight. The primary job of the backlight is to provide contrast between the subject and the background. Ideally, the backlight will illuminate both shoulders and the head, since dark hair colors often blend into a dark background. Place the light above and behind the subject, shining down at 45 degrees or more. If you can't attach the light to the ceiling or wall, consider a light stand with a boom attachment that lets you place the light above the subject without the stand appearing in the frame. The backlight can be hard or soft, but usually needs focusing implements like the barn doors on this Lowell Omnilight. These allow you to shape the direction of the lighting. Generally, the power should be between 20 and 50% of key light intensity. When placing your backlight, make sure the light stand and power cords are not in the frame. Then check that the light doesn't shine into the camcorder's lens, which will create a lens flare. Turn off the key and fill lights and check that the backlight doesn't create hot spots on the subject's forehead and cheeks, which is often a problem when working in close quarters. Also make sure that the backlight doesn't create any shadows from the eyebrows or nose. If you don't want the backlight shining against the background, check that as well. To summarize, the key light provides the bulk of the lighting in the scene. Position it first using the location of the nose and chin shadows as a guide. The fill light moderates the shadows created by the key light, while the backlight creates contrast with the background.